Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Restoring Hope for Haas. And yes, we are back again for episode 5, which is the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I'm excited for this one. I do like racing around this track. Obviously there's always that danger of crashing into the wall on any street circuit, especially Azerbaijan, but we're coming off of Monaco from the previous race, so knowing that we managed to get a full race in there with only getting wing damage once, I guess we're going to be kind of confident when it comes to Azerbaijan, because obviously it's not as tight as Monaco, and you don't have to be focused the whole time. It's more the middle sector that you'll be in trouble with, because you know the first and the final sector are both mainly straights. So I'm looking forward to this one. I do like Azerbaijan, and there should be a good chance of us being able to go further up the grid. We're improving the power unit a little bit, and you can see there we're really not that far off the top teams when it comes to the power unit. So I'm looking forward to this one. This is also one of my better tracks racing on this game, as long as I don't get wing damage. I'm usually pretty fast, especially on 100 AI. So we'll see how the race goes. Hopefully, maybe this might even be our first time getting into Q2. And you can see I'm just going through all these development upgrades right here. We managed to get the aero in before this Grand Prix, but our car's actually developing pretty nicely over time. Hopefully it's going to keep improving like this, because we need to get that progress going, because I'm looking at by season 3, you know, we'll be challenging the top 3 teams, and hopefully by season 5 we would have won the championship. So we need to get going realistically, but we are pushed our way up. I think we're now rated higher than the Williams. It's just obviously my teammate's Mazepin, and in the Williams you've got George Russell. Obviously you've got Latifi as well, but you know, George Russell, he's gonna show his pure speed in there. He's gonna be hard to beat. So I wonder when on this career mode Haas will get rid of Mazepin and who they'll replace him with, because that would be interesting, if I could get a tougher teammate to go up against, because Mazepin obviously is one of the lowest ranked drivers on the game. So fighting against him isn't really too much of a challenge, beating him week in, week out. But here we are in the first qualifying in Azerbaijan. You can see it's a decent start. I don't know why I dropped down to gear 2 there. I usually stay in gear 3 so I can get better traction coming out of that corner. But the first sector there was pretty solid. And coming through the castle section, this is probably the one place where you get damaged the most. So you've got to be careful through here. And you can see coming out of there, almost sending it in the wall. Getting on the throttle a bit too early, and driving this Haas car still feels a bit weird to me, because I'm doing this career mode and then I go and race online and it's like you're in a Merc almost, so it's kind of weird. But you can see right there P15 even with that mistake coming out of that corner. So right now we're on course for Q2, and there's definitely time for us to make up in this Haas car. So I reckon we could maybe even drop half a second, especially with the more grip we're going to have at the end of this session. You can see it's not even that tiny through the first turn there, and we're already up almost a whole tenth. And coming out the second turn, you can see much better traction at that time. We're almost a tenth and a half up after 2 turns, and those first 2 turns in my first lap I thought were very good. So we are showing now we got so much more pace. We're braking later, and there's just more and more time we're getting. Almost 3 tenths. Go a bit wide there and lose some time. But every corner we seem to be gaining something. This middle sector was really strong in my first lap. So on this second lap we're trying to match it, and we're still a tenth and a half up, and we haven't gone through the end of the castle section where we made that mistake last time. So coming around here, you can see very close to the wall there, almost touching it, and that's where we lost most of our time, losing about 2 tenths there. But coming out of here, we're going to gain a lot of time coming through here, and we got a little bit wide, and you can see goes a little bit too wide, and we almost it could have been a lot better through there again. Well, obviously we gained time because last time we almost spun out, but we almost spun out there again. And it was very close. So knowing that we've lost a lot of time which we could have gained is very frustrating, but we are improving, and we do still have a huge chance of making it through to Q2. And you can see a 140.4 is the time to beat, 415. And we have a 140.756, and we're almost 3 tenths up on that. So it's going to be very, very close between us and Kimi Räikkönen. Can we get to Q2 for the first time this season? We got the DRS open. We're headed all the way up to the line. What can we do? And I think we just missed out by 2 1,000ths or 2 100ths, I think it was. Yeah, it was 2 100ths we missed out by. So close. And, it's very frustrating because you see the time that we had to gain as well. We could have been up there in P12 if we didn't make that mistake at the end of the middle sector. You know, through the castle section and also at the start of the middle sector, actually. So realistically, I felt we had another 3-4 tenths. So that's frustrating, but starting P16 ain't too bad, and we'll see how it goes.
With controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Hamilton, Lando Norris, and Leclerc, Ricciardo, Gasly, Sainz, and Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen, and Giovinazzi, Stevens, Stroll, George Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. Mazepin and Esteban Ocon rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So as you can see there, we moved up a place due to the penalties, which is actually very nice. So now we're starting P15, and I've got a really good feeling about this race. A great qualifying, in my opinion, knowing that we still had, I'd say, 3, 4, maybe even 5 tenths to find in that, and we missed out on Q2 by 2 100ths. So I think I'm really confident for this race, knowing that I have a lot of pace around here. And 5 red lights, if we can get a good start here, it's going to be a great start. Starting on the medium tyres, and we are away in the Baku Grand Prix, and we had a better start than Giovinazzi, who was on the inside. And we're going to try and go around the outside of Kimi Raikkonen. Let's see what we can do. Try to squeeze our car, but we cannot do it. And down the inside goes the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. Now we're battling with him, who's on the softer tyres. We're going to see if we can get the better traction coming out of turn 2. We're going to see how our paces down the straight, using all of our ERS, see what our power unit can do, but it's no match for the Aston Martin. But we're going to fight this all the way. We're going to brake later on the brakes, almost going into the wall, but we managed to get the job done at turn 3, and we're in P14. We've actually moved up a place ahead of Giovinazzi, who's lost a couple at the start, and it's a decent start for us. No wing damage, obviously, which is great. And we can now start to get in the flow of things around this street circuit and start to build on this start on these medium tyres. And you can see Kimi Raikkonen up ahead is also on the mediums. So we're going to try and follow him and stay as close to him as possible to the group ahead so that we can get the DRS. Because if you can stay in DRS range around Azerbaijan, you will be good because of that long straight. And you'll have that pace all the way down. And you can almost gain about half a second by staying in the DRS range. But you can see our race pace just isn't the same as the qualifying pace, and Kimi has managed to actually pull a bit of a gap, 3 seconds, because we've been battling with Lance Stroll the first couple laps. And coming down this main straight now, he doesn't even have DRS on us. He's just got the pure pace, and we're going to try and stick back in the slipstream, but you can see we just do not have the pace for him, and he's going to move over to the inside, give the slipstream to Giovinazzi. We've lost 2 places in that one straight, and that's the danger of that long straight. But we're going to try to switch back on both cars, see if we can go down the inside. Bit of a wobble as we came out of turn 1, but we're not going to get it done. So we're going to move to the outside to get a better exit. What can we do against these 2 cars? Can we get at least one of them down the straight? And you're going to see this different camera angle. I like this camera angle, looking down the wing mirror. And we're going to use the slipstream off Lance Stroll. We get down the inside of Giovinazzi. Are we going to try around the outside of Stroll? No, we're not. We're going to let him get on with it, and we're going to try and stick with him for as long as possible and use his DRS down this next lap, because DRS is obviously now enabled, and we've managed to stay with him the whole lap, and we're less than 4 tenths behind coming through these S's at the end of the lap, and we're going to be able to get him down here, or we should be able to get him because of the DRS we're going to have. It's such a huge advantage down this straight. Almost always you're going to have a chance of them down turn 1 if you're in DRS range. Oh, we're close enough? No, we're not, but we are within 2 tenths of Lance Stroll, and there's another DRS straight coming up. Can we get him before the middle sector? This is crucial, because before the middle sector is where you want to get him, because then he's stuck behind you the whole time, and he's losing time, especially on those soft tyres. So we want to try and get past him, especially as those softs are getting worn. We're going to go round the outside. We're going to break super late, almost running into the wall. But we get the move done, the bravery to go down the outside. We trust in our brakes, and we manage to get the move done on lap 6. And ahead of Lance Stroll we go. And battling against the Aston Martin, only 5 races into our career, it feels great, I'm not going to lie. Especially we're on the mediums, they're on the softs, and you know, to be racing these sorts of teams is progress. So if we keep this up by the end of the season, I'm hoping we're scoring more and more points, because this is exciting stuff. Our car is definitely progressing more than I had expected at this stage, and you can see the battle from behind. This is Verstappen, he's having a go at Lance Stroll. Verstappen, who's already pit, he's going to have a Lance Stroll down the inside. And this is right behind us, this is all happening. And he's going to go down the inside, and that looks like too deep. He's gone over the curve, and he's gone straight into the wall. But how lucky is that for the race leader to run into the wall and hit his tyre and not get any wing damage at all? How incredibly lucky is that? If that was me, my whole wing is gone. So I can't believe that, looking in my rear view mirrors. And that is also part of the reason why I wanted to get past Lance Stroll, because I saw Verstappen coming. I knew if he was coming up behind me, we were going to battle a lot, and that seems like Lance Stroll has got out, and we're going to dive into the pit lane right at the last second. Obviously, you don't know how to do that in real life. On the game, you could swerve in at the last second. That's exactly what we did. And it said Lance Stroll was out, so he was having a battle with Max Verstappen, and I'm interested to see what's happened. You could also see Verstappen's pit, so he must have had some damage or something, because he's coming to the pits as well. But Lance Stroll, I think he might have had an incident with Max Verstappen, because they were battling, and you can see we're coming out in P13 after our pit stop on the hard tyres, which are going to go to the end of the race. So it's actually kind of worked out for us, and we're going to see what happened to Lance Stroll there. What's happened to him here? So he's coming down this main straight. What's happened? He's going through the S's now. He's just lost it. From the cockpit view, he's just lost it, and he's got a tyre on the top of his car. And that's race over for Lance Stroll. I don't think there was any contact made. He just didn't get the right line coming in, because he was, I think, battling with another car, and he just lost the rear, and that's all she wrote for Lance Stroll. So he's out the race, a rival we were racing against, and now we are under green flag conditions almost. Now we're under green flag conditions, and we're going to have a go at the inside of an Alpine. We're battling everybody today. We're going to have a go. We're going to see if we can make the move done, and we've got an AlphaTauri up ahead of us, and we do make the move stick, and we're ahead of both Alpines now, up in a P12, knowing that we don't have to pit again on this hard tyre, and we are looking very, very good and very competitive in this Haas car. And I am absolutely loving this race. Absolutely loving it. Getting ahead of these Alpines before this middle sector is crucial. We're just going to hold them up now. We're not going to be able to stay with the front pack on the medium tyre, because we are on the hard tyre, as you can see, almost hitting the castle section. We are pushing it as much as we can, because we know the pit stop isn't very long around Azerbaijan. It's a very short pit stop, actually. But we need to stay ahead of these Alpines for as long as possible. And you can see Alonso, he's going to have a go at us down here. This is where Max Verstappen got damaged. But somehow we leave enough room. It's essentially, Alonso can thank us for that. We left enough room for him to fit on by. I don't know why you wouldn't wait till the main straight. But he got the move done there. Fair play to him. Around the outside, it's not a place you want to be making a move, because it's very risky. And now we're going to get overtaken by 1, 2, maybe 3 cars down this main straight, with Ocon and Verstappen coming at us, and we're just going to let them go. No point battling, especially Verstappen. Verstappen's flying in that Red Bull. So we're going to watch what happens as Ocon locks up big time. And now we've got an Alfa Romeo diving down the inside of us. And we've almost lost 4 places within the space of about 4 corners. So this is not ideal. And the Alfa Romeo does get past us, but we're going to be tucking right in behind his slipstream using all of our ERS. Can we get past him? This is crucial. We're on the hard tyre. He's on the mediums. We do not want to let this Alfa run away from us. Can we get around the outside? What are we going to do? Jovan does, he goes very defensive. I think he was way too narrow along the inside, which compromised his exit, and he's still fighting it. But eventually we managed to get the move done, and we stay up in a P14 ahead of the Alpha, and up ahead of us you just see Verstappen and Ocon fighting, and that's just helping us as well. They're losing time, and that's perfect for us, really. And now you can see this this wing view. We had this in Monaco as well. Just looking at this wing view, you can see touching the wall there, losing a chunk of my wing, but I don't think that's going to affect us at all. But I love this camera angle, especially in the street circuits. It just looks so good, weaving through the walls, and that's one of my favourite camera angles on this game. But on to lap 13, we're about halfway through the race now, and we're up at a P15, knowing that we do not have to make another pit stop. And the cars ahead, they're only about 6-7 seconds ahead. We're getting attacked by the Williams. He's not going to worry us at the end of this race, so we do not have to panic at all.
Okay, keep on him. You might make a
But
mistake.
we are going to be defending for our lives the last 5, 6, 7 laps on these tyres. These tyres are going to be dying. People are going to be on the softs and the mediums, fresh softs and mediums, and they're going to be all over us. And that's when we're going to defend for our lives. Right now, we're just trying to get past George Russell. We don't want him holding us up. We want clear air, and we just want to race. That's all we want to do. We don't want to lose any time where we can afford it. Because you can see the Alpines ahead, 7.5 seconds ahead already. A pit stop around here, I think, is roughly about 20 seconds. So if they get like 10 seconds ahead and they pit, all they need to do is make up 10 seconds on those fresh tyres, which is going to be very easy. They're going to be about probably 2 seconds quicker almost. So we've got to keep going. And this battle against Raikkonen and Russell is not what we need at all. Especially with the 2 cars ahead of us fighting, and we're going to see if we can get a better exit, get past the both of them. But on the exit, we almost lose the rear end, and that seems like both cars are going to get away from us, and we're just going to have to sit on behind, see what we could do, use their DRS, and just hope they get a move on, because them 2 battling right now, it's costed us time that we cannot afford. And it's just allowing the Alpines and everybody else to get ahead of us. And if you have a look on a mini-map, they're all together. So I think all the cars are roughly 10 to 15 seconds ahead of me, which means in the next couple laps, when they pit, we're going to be all ahead of them. Not by much, and we're going to be very, very slow. So it's all going to be about defending in the middle sector, get into that third sector, getting a good exit, and then once we get that good exit, use all our ERS and try and defend down the inside the best we can. And cars have already pitted, like Hamilton and Ricciardo, and we're out ahead of them. So that shows that we do have the pace. We're going to let these guys go because there's 9 laps to go in the race. They're obviously going to get past us. But it just shows that these front cars have already pit, and we're ahead of them, which means the middle pack, we're going to be ahead of them as well. Especially with 5 laps to go. We're coming out of that final corner. We've had a nightmare. We've clipped our front wing. We've clipped the curb on the edge, and we've broken our front wing. Thankfully, we've got the safety car out, so we can pit for a new wing and for the softs. We're going around the corner. Oh my gosh, it's an absolute nightmare in the Haas car. It was all looking so good for us in the race, but oh my gosh, the problem the problem there is I tried to turn, but with the wing damage, the car just wouldn't turn. And I came in at such high speed, almost forgetting that I had wing damage. And the car just didn't turn. I tried to brake, the wheels locked up, and straight into the wall we went. And that's race over for us. And that's the first race we've had to retire from due to a crash. And that is devastating. It was a good race, and there was a chance of points, especially on those hards. But it is what it is. We've made a big error, and that's not what a championship driver would do. It's a missed chance at points, which is the frustrating part, because there was a chance there. But it is what it is. It was a good race up until then, but I guess we'll just have to move on.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
So there we have it. A DNF in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It is P18 ahead of our teammate who also DNF'd. I didn't see why. I think it was a mechanical issue earlier on in the race. I think I forgot to include it in the race. But P18, it's devastating because the chance was there for the top 10. You can see Verstappen even missed out on the top 10 because of the crash he had. So it's upsetting. We had a chance, but we're still P13 in the driver's standings with those 6 points. And the 6 points for a Haas team is very, very big at this point, especially compared to Alfa Romeo and the Williams that you can see here in the constructors. We're still 8th. They're going to have to get a lot of points, which I don't see them getting. So right now we're in a comfortable position. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.